Welcome, welcome everyone. Glad you could make it. And just want to triple check everyone can hear okay. Yep, okay, here. I see myself spotlighted. Okay. Well, hello and welcome everyone. I'm Jess Berg. I'm the current chair of the Pacific Northwest section. This is our first official meeting of the year and my first as chair. We had our annual committee elections in June, and congratulations and thank you to our new and continuing committee members. We had a planning meeting in July with August technically off. Our sections meetings are typically September through June, and we will either be hybrid or fully online so people can join and participate with us from around the world. Our next meeting is planned for October and details are still in the works, but I'm excited to share when we are ready to announce. We will avoid the dates around the AES convention, which will be held in Long Beach, California between October 22nd and through the 25th. After that, our Jim Rondinelli is working on something special for November, so more to come on that too. Stay tuned to the latest on our webpage, where you can also learn more about becoming an AES member. There's a blue button at the bottom of the page that says Joining Info. You'll need 3 references, and we are happy to be your references. Just ask. Speaking of AES members, we will want to get a count of everyone who is a member in the room and online. So I didn't quite work out how to facilitate this all the way, but if the folks in the room, if you could just raise your hand, and the in-person folks, maybe Gary, if you could count them, and then I'll count the online folks here. Let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10. All right, I'm seeing 10 on the Zoom, 11 on the Zoom. We'll call it 11 on the Zoom. All right, thanks everyone. And did you get an in-person count, I hope?
And
10. All right, 10 in person, 11 online. Great. Great. Thanks. Um, that's awesome. Also wanted to note it's very important to our section that our meetings remain free and open to all. We use Zephy instead of Eventbrite because they don't take any fees. Tonight we had very generous donations totaling $95. And this is very generous. For us, this covers our committee business needs, and we kindly thank you. For the folks in the Zoom, we appreciate everyone using your real name, first and last. Please reach out if you can't find where to do this. Also, just please be mindful of muting your microphone when not speaking. Please keep your microphone muted and your camera off during the presentation as well. Feel free to utilize the chat feature to drop questions along the way that we will address during the QA portion, which will be after the main presentation, along with the opportunity for everyone to introduce themselves. I'll be facilitating the Zoom room, and Micah Hayes, who should be arriving any moment, will help facilitate the people in the room, and he and Jayney will help pass around the guest mics in the venue. Together, we will make sure that everyone's questions get heard during the QA portion. For the in-person folks, there are a couple door prizes, and the winners will be drawn at the conclusion for the hybrid portion. So there are also cookies and bottled water available. Thank you to Jayney and the kind folks at the Triple Door. We greatly appreciate your hospitality. I think that covers the business portion. Let's get to the fun stuff. We are very excited for tonight's presentation, produced by our Jayney Wallick. I'll let her introduce our guest presenter. Jayney?
Hi there. Thanks and welcome to the Triple Door. Our presenter tonight is Sam Scheibner, and he is the primary audio engineer for the Triple Door, has been for a year and a half as of last month. And before that, he worked at the venue as a fill-in audio engineer. And Sam has worked for years as a live sound audio engineer at many venues around Seattle, including Alcor Zone, the Vera Project, Tim's Tavern, the J&M Cafe, Highline, Substation, and many others. And I'm pleased to announce that I also worked with him here last week. Thank you, Sam, for showing us the intricacies of how to streamline a sound check.
Hello, everyone. As Jayney said, my name is Sam Scheibner, and I wanted to do a talk that maybe you're not. I wanted to do a talk that maybe you're not expecting, maybe you're not hoping, maybe it's not what you would hope for. A little bit more about me. Yes, I've worked in a lot of venues around town. For those of you online that maybe aren't from Seattle, a lot of those places would be maybe considered dive bars or smaller venues of like maybe 100 capacity people. And so this is probably the largest capacity room that I've worked in as a head engineer, but I've also worked as a stagehand with IATSE, doing mostly grip work, but some, AV stuff. I worked as a grip in the Climate Pledge, helped set up audio systems there. I was also a musician for many years, and I think that really helped me understand what artists have to go through, because I had to work with sound engineers that in small places and big places. And a lot of the sound engineers I worked with, I don't think that was really what they wanted to be doing. I think it was really the bouncer that got roped into doing it. And so why am I up here? The thing is, I don't really think that I know enough about audio engineering, but I cut my teeth in dive bars. I definitely have enough skill to be able to operate a room like this. But why does the triple door sound so good? That's what I've been told by Jayney. I really think it comes down to sort of a GGG principle. If we get good artists and we have good equipment and we do a good execution, I don't really have to do a whole lot to make it sound good. Now, there are some tricks and things I can throw that if there's maybe a subpar performance, I can help it a little bit, but sometimes it's just going to be what it is, and you have to understand you're here supporting the performance. You're not here creating something. You're supporting someone who is creating. Our job really is sort of to get out of the way of the artist. We don't want to be an impediment to them doing what they've come to do. And I want to talk about things that I wish, or the things that I learned that really helped me when I was starting out. It was a lot of trial and error, trial by fire, just being in it, getting thrown in at the Vera Project to do folk life after maybe 3 years of experience, having to do like 5-minute changeovers. Yeah. So what I really want to talk about is sort of everything around the sound, everything that you can do to sort of set yourself up for success, so that the artists feel comfortable on stage, so that the audience feels comfortable with your job. And the reason I want to do that is because I've met a lot of people, particularly in smaller venues, but throughout the industry, that are really more into the aesthetics of audio engineering rather than the application. I'm talking about gearheads and sometimes perfectionists. Perfectionists, someone that will spend 2 hours doing a sound check that needs to be 30 minutes. And I also want to get something out of the way really quickly. I really don't care about your project studio. I have a lot of people come up to me and say, I have a studio at home. I have a studio right here in my pocket. Every teenager has one. I think Billie Eilish made most of her debut album using GarageBand. So it's not impressive. And it just really highlighted to me that people were more interested in being sort of in the scene rather than doing the work. So I wanted to focus on sort of the things around sound engineering, because in the center are your priorities, and everything around that is what supports it. What are your priorities? I think I can see a 4. There's probably more, but the audience, the artists, the employer, and you. In any order that it changes from night to night. The order changes for me constantly. Sometimes during a show, the order of priorities will change. The employer, the audience is obvious, I think. The artist is obvious. The employer, that could be you as well, if you're doing freelance or if you own the system. But you should not forget your priorities as well, because you are doing a job. You are laboring, and that has value, and you should not discount that. And we have a story about that. So what is around the sound? There's several things, but I wanted to talk about equipment. I think skills and knowledge are a part of that. The networking, organizing, and downtime. Skills and knowledge is probably why you're here and you wanted to have a talk about. Sorry, this is going to be about everything else. The equipment, it's very simple. You should have good equipment, or as good as you can afford. You should know how it works. Every piece of equipment now comes with a magical tome called a manual, and you can read through that, and that has lots of very useful information often. I know a lot of people that I've seen come in here, they bring in their consoles because they're very, they have their sound that they want, and they just want to keep that. I don't think they would be very unhappy with our console, which is extremely expensive. But even people that come in and they've been working on this console for a couple of weeks on tour, I am showing them stuff that they didn't know they could do because simply they just didn't take the time to learn about it. Also with equipment, you should assume something is always broken. Something will be broken and you haven't found it out, or you know that something's broken. Something is broken and you will have to find a workaround for that. So for that, signal flow, signal flow, signal flow. If you've not heard that, keep that mantra in your mind. Where is the signal going? Networking, one of the best skills that I've never really figured out. Best advice I can give you is roll the dice, play the game. This is my second Audio Engineering Society meeting. At my first one, I met Dan and Jayney, and I got hooked up with Dan, and he got me a volunteer opportunity at Wintergrass, which was really useful. I got to learn about setting up equipment, and I got to sit behind a sound engineer and learn about the X32 console, and that was great. And Jayney got me into clubs, and I would be able to then meet sound engineers and talk to people and tell them my interests and my skills and whatnot. But that was kind of lucky, And so my advice would be roll the dice, play the game. It is it's not a numbers based, but you will be fortunate if you keep trying. The internet is great. If you're on LinkedIn, good for you. Get off as soon as possible. Try and meet face to face. Try and be at places where you can demonstrate your skills. Try and get in front of people, because the internet's garbage now. Sorry, we ruined it. Hi, everyone on Zoom. Assume everyone has value and basically just be professional. You don't know. You don't know if someone is going to be able to recommend you to somewhere where you would like to work. I think that's how I got this job. We're not actually sure, I just got a call from Scott, the talent buyer, and he has no idea where he got my number from. But somebody recommended me to him, and he is like, "Ah, I'll give it a try." I got a call. I came in, started working here. It's been great. Also, nobody's perfect. You're not going to get it right every single time. You should be fine with having a not entirely stellar networking experience. Organization and downtime. There's several things. There's GTD, getting things done, inbox zero, time blocking, a bunch of ways to like do productivity. The system doesn't really matter. The system is the right system is the one you'll use. You know, not you should not be a perfectionist in terms of your productivity. But also, you really should keep this in mind. Work needs to facilitate your life. You need to rest. I did a long stretch where I was doing 14 days in a row, taking a day off and doing 14 days in a row again, and burning myself out. And that, I do not recommend that. Now, if you're young and you got a lot of energy, maybe go for it, but you should really consider you're going to do a better job when you can take some time for yourself. And also, your ears need rest too. We are not sort of designed to be doing shows and hearing 100 decibels 7 nights a week for weeks on end. If you're on tour, it is what it is. Good luck. So let's go through an example of a show. First thing you got to do is you got to set yourself up for success. If you have the luxury of a stage plot or a writer, assume that it is wrong, but it will get you close. I will use them to set out things like power drops, stage boxes, drum risers, maybe a couple of mic stands, but try to keep the stage as accessible to where things need to go. A lot of times the way things work is the gear will come in and we'll just dump it all in the middle of the stage. They'll open up the cases, set everything out. Sometimes you have to be the production manager, the stage manager, the band therapist as well. Even though you're working 4 jobs, you still only get the 1 paycheck. I haven't quite figured that one out yet. So yeah, then load in comes in. When you're loading in, you'll notice very quickly that there will be choke points. For ours, we have the elevator in the back. So when people have large amounts of gear or very heavy gear, we have to utilize that. And that elevator goes to every floor in the building, not just the loading dock in here. And so we're able to capture it, but if we capture it, then nobody can use the elevator. So we have to do that as quickly as possible. So the way we do it is we have one person who rides the elevator up and down, one person who helps load stuff into the elevator, one person who helps load stuff out of the elevator. And so we have to cycle it through there. As long as it gets through there and lands in the back of the theater, we can get it to the stage at a leisurely pace, and then we can release the elevator. Everyone's happy. We don't get complaints from the office upstairs. It's a little bit like herding cats. And also, this is probably where safety is one of the biggest issues. It's not, if you're doing everything slowly and carefully, if you're comfortable moving stuff and putting it where it needs to go, you should be fine. But don't be ashamed to ask for help or say, I don't know if I can move this by myself or if I can set this up by myself, and I would like some assistance. There's no shame in that whatsoever. Wiring up. If you got your stage plot and writer, again, assume it's wrong. This is where you would meet with someone with the band and say, okay, is this how everything is? No, we're striking the violin. The horn section's on the other side. Okay, let's move everything where it needs to be. You can have a system. I like to get the band's gear done first, then place mic stands and microphones, and then cables. But whatever system you do, that's the one you use is the one that will work. Also, keep the gear where you expect it to be. If you think, oh, this would be a clever place for that, if you're not going to go look for that gear in that place again, that's the worst possible place to put it. And if you have helpers, make sure that they know where the gear goes back to. That is a frequent problem here. It's getting better, though. I am training them. All right, and then you can do a line check. Some people like to line check as they go. I find that to be kind of inefficient. I like to get all the microphones done first, and then check to make sure that they're all sending signal. And having like a tablet like this that can connect to your console is really helpful, so you can just be at the microphone and do it yourself. But if not, you should have a helper. You go there, make sure all the lines are working. Now, the title of this, the sound check. And I think this really encompasses everything that I'm trying to talk about. I find that sound checks take way too long because no one is thinking about taking charge and getting the work done in as fast, not as fast as possible, but in an efficient manner. In an efficient manner. Presets, presets, presets. They are going to be so much your friend. If you learn how a console works, all the digital consoles now, you can have a preset. Like I know on my kick drum, I'm going to want an expander. I'm going to want some compression. The EQ curve's going to be roughly like this, but I'll change it, based on how it sounds when they're playing. I can just load that. It's done. I'm almost got my presets dialed in. Actually, that'll never really be perfect. You'll always be making that a little better. If we have the band on stage, it's time to take charge of the situation. You have to exude confidence, be in control. I like to give a little spiel at the top, and it goes a little bit something like this. Welcome to the Triple Door. I know we've all done sound check 1,000 times before. I'm going to go over it again anyway so that we're all on the same page. I'm going to ask for an instrument. I'm going to get that sounding good in the house. After I get it sounding good in the house, I will look up and see you, and I will ask if you would like that in your monitor. Raise your hand if you want it in your monitor. Lower your hand if you want it in your monitor. Wave your hands wildly in the air if there's too much in your monitor. We don't need to go over. The reason I do it that way is because we don't need to go over a bunch of hand signals, and I have to teach them my technique of doing things. It's just really simple, really quick. Have a little spiel that you can give, and so that they know that you are in charge and that we are going through it. Then you go through each thing, try to herd the cats and keep them on point. Sound checks are boring. Try and move along at a clip. Do not spend 30 minutes on a kick drum. There have been so many sound checks where the sound engineer is just trying to dial it in, trying to dial it in. Like you get it so that it's sounding decent enough. When the band is all playing together, that is when you should be refining, not getting it perfect before you do anything else. Sort of have a theory of sound. When the band is loading in, I don't really need to know the band or I've listened to their music to be able to kind of figure out what it is they're going for. A bluegrass band kind of looks like a bluegrass band and has bluegrass instruments. So develop a theory of sound. For example, if we have something that's a little more jazzy or classical, I won't use the subwoofers at all because that's not the kind of show it is. It's not necessary. It should sound like it's supposed to sound. And if you listen to enough music, you can get a feel for that. Again, be professional. Sound checks, even if you're running them efficiently, sound checks are kind of boring and you might see people trying to wander off. You can ask, do we need to take a break? Do we need to pause? Do we need to wait for this person? But try to assert some control of the situation and keep it moving. Now you're going to need to troubleshoot because something is now broken. Remember, signal flow, signal flow, signal flow. When it all goes horribly wrong, which inevitably, if you work long enough, something will go catastrophically wrong. Try and remember this. It's showbiz. The stakes cannot be lower. what we're doing is icing on people's cake. We're not doing heart surgery. That's how you remain calm when other people are freaking out. You don't need to match their energy. Everything is going to be all right. As long as we all get home and we act safely, that's a win. Tear down and load out, that's the best part of the day, and that is the attitude you need to have. You're going to be drained. The artists, they've just given it all on stage, and so they're going to be drained. So you need to bring the energy. You need to be so very happy about how everything happened. Have an order of operations. I like to do it with mics and expensive things that are mine. I try to get those off the stage and out of the hands of the artists as soon as possible. Then I try to get the mic stands out of the way so that it's easier for them to move their gear out. Then we can do cables while the band is sort of packing up their gear. Put everything where you expect it to be tomorrow. Don't put it in that new secret spot that, wouldn't it be so good? Expect it'll take more time than you think, so that a 30-minute loadout will take an hour. So don't lose that energy at minute 45. Again, be professional. This is the time when you cement in the artist's mind how the show really went. The last thing they remember is the last thing they will think about you. If the show was kind of all right, but everything went really smoothly at the loadout, I will get an email saying, that was the best show ever. I can't believe, you guys were so nice, so professional, it was so great. Say thank you, that was wonderful. Be very kind to the artists. I don't care if you like their music. Every band that we've had on stage is amazing. That's not just blowing smoke. Again, to link back to the networking thing, you don't really know where one thing will lead. So be kind to everybody. And finally, we have in our possession a Yamaha PM1D. And if you would like to buy it, or if you know how I can get rid of it, please talk to me. My email is sam@thetripledoor.net. That's .net, not .com. And that's how you run an efficient sound check.
Thank you, Sam. Do we have any questions for Sam? Now is your time to ask.
I hope time. Number one, Sam. Do we get in the elevator from the alley? If so, does the city allow us to buy permits to block off the alley with our trucks? That type of thing.
That is pretty good. Yes, no. So we can't block the alley. So the trucks have to be unloaded as quickly as possible.
But that is where the elevator.
But that is, the elevator access is in the alley. Yeah.
Does Triple Door have parking spaces specifically for artists?
Yes and no. We have a load-in spot right in front, and we can put a permit in their window, and they can actually park their vehicle there during the duration of the show. And sometimes artists won't use the elevator. Sometimes they'll carry it. Like last night, we had EXTC, and I know. Sorry, Eddie.
No.
No. But the drummer, who he's been doing it for years, he must be at least in his 60s, I don't know, but he loaded like a 7-piece drum kit through the front and carried it down the stairs himself. That was pretty wild. Any other questions?
Do y'all have a monitor console as well, or is it monitors run from front of the house?
We used to. No, I run monitors from front of house. We do have a split, so we can have we often have, like when Los Lobos, they bring in their own monitor console, and we've done things that way, but it's really not that necessary anymore. It's just a nice to have one person focused on that. That's really the benefit there. Any other questions?
We've got a question on the Zoom. Question from AJ to you, Sam. Do you wear earplugs when you're doing sound? And if so, which ones?
It depends on the show. I don't wear earplugs anymore. I have over the ear protection because I tend to get a lot of ear infections, and even using disposable earplugs, which I'm not that fan of, I still found myself just getting tons of ear infections, and so I use over the ear protection, which isn't ideal, but
You mentioned that people will sometimes bring their own like console
Yeah.
in. How is that jumping from your own, where like you said you had your own presets, to
yeah.
one that you don't? Are you just kind of relying on their presets? Do they have their own?
So
Like,
if
how
they
does that-
bring their own console in, they probably have a scene already with everything that they want, and we will tie it into our system. Very specifically here, we can do what's called a port to port. So they'll give me like 4 feeds, like left, right, sub, front fill, and I will just simply jump those in the stage box to the outputs that would go to our left, right, subs, and front fills. Does nobody want to know about the story I talked about with Jayney?
Absolutely, I do. Yeah. Sam, would you please tell us a story with you and Jayney?
So Jayney and I, and I think, what was that guy's name? John. We were at the Lo-Fi, and to record the show, I basically with Jayney, I would just help. I would help load in her gear and help. Anyway, the sound engineer didn't show up. They were in like an accident. There was an emergency, and the sound engineer did not show up for the show, and so there was not going to be a show.
5 bands.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was there with John, and I think his name was John. Let's call him John.
It was Chris.
Chris. Yep, great guy. I went to the venue and I said, listen, you have 2 sound engineers here. I know that we're not the people you would hope for, but if you pay us the fee that they were going to get, we'll split it. So you get 2 sound engineers for the price of 1, and the show can happen.
And I made sure that they got paid.
We got paid. We absolutely got paid that night. Yeah, another question though?
I recorded Jackie Naylor here with the mobile truck that I have.
Yeah.
And I was out on 3rd Avenue in a bump out, because buses are only on 3rd now, right? And so there was a bump out in the sidewalk that's now been filled. Scott even knew that with concrete. And so literally back in that day, and I'm thinking truck was done in 08, so I'm thinking probably in 10 or 12, something like that, 2010, 2012.
Yeah.
I believe when we originally remodeled this, well, I know for a fact, there was a trap door or a doorway out on 3rd Avenue below a storefront that was not us. And it literally was a duct, Sam, about like this, like a air conditioning duct, purposely for this, that came straight down from the sidewalk to the stage. So my cable runs were so short. And then you guys had your amazing split. I didn't have to use my split. But I was out, Sam, before your talk tonight, looking for that trap door. And no, it's all covered up. But it's like that is somewhere in the walls, and we don't need to do that anymore.
Wow.
So, yeah, super fun.
I'm learning about this place all the time. Yeah.
I have a question actually.
Yeah.
Apologies if you addressed this, but I was curious about like when bands bring in their own front of house engineer and how, like for example, like what percentage do you think of bands that come in like bring their own front of house engineer? And if so, like, or when they do, like how does that change what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say we get like 1 a month, I'd say on average. Sometimes, we get a couple in a row, but I'd say on average, it's like 1 a month at least. And that'll either be they bring in their own console or they are comfortable using our console. My job then is just to facilitate the engineer, make sure that they are set up for success. I've also had engineers come in that weren't exactly comfortable with the console, and I kind of had to do most of the work, and they mainly just stood there and moved the faders up and down. but that's fine. You know, the important thing is that the show happens. But again, it's another opportunity to be professional. You are going to meet every kind of person. I mean, I am still learning. I'm sure that I have tons I could learn from all of you. So does that answer relatively your question?
Yeah. So when you say once a month, that's out of approximately like how many bands?
Oh, actually, how many bands? Well, we do like on average, maybe 5 shows a week, maybe 20, so maybe like 17 shows on average, maybe one will be, and I would say 1 out of 17.
Interesting.
I was gonna put
fewer than I thought it would be. I don't know why. I just, yeah. Yeah. Huh. Any other questions? Yeah, go for it.
Any online? Okay.
I have another one. You mentioned maybe jokingly, but having to sometimes be a therapist for groups. How have you had to navigate that? That's something I've also kind of had to deal with.
I don't think I'll get in any specific stories, but we not here, but in the at other venues I've worked at, we would get artists at maybe a difficult time in their life, and maybe they were doing things they shouldn't, and maybe they felt bad about it and they wanted to talk about it, and you are the person that they talk to because you're the only person in charge, other than the bartender, and the bartender is busy. But yeah, I'm at a place like this. It's not happened, but we do also we do a lot of burlesque shows. We do a lot of theater as well. So those shows are kind of different. They'll be installed, and so it'll be set up every night and just sort of ready to go. And my job is basically to make sure that the thing's turned on and that everything's working properly. But you know, burlesque is a little bit tantalizing, and we have to sort of have coordination with the staff. Like this, it's okay for you to be in this area and not this area. Like we utilize more of the suites during those times. So the staff, some of the staff is not allowed in there because people are changing and they're naked in there. So it's every day is different.
Sam, do you have interns? Do you have helpers? How do you handle that? Because
I have a
like
couple of subs.
Yeah.
I have a couple of subs that give me some relief, and God forbid if anything, you know, would happen to me that can come in. And I've actually, for a long time, I was really hurting for, I think like everywhere in Seattle was asking me to work, and I was constantly throwing work to other people, and they're saying I'm busy too much. There weren't enough sound engineers. I've finally started to get more people applying, which I think is just a good thing because there was just not enough to go around. It was crazy for a minute there.
So your contact.
Yeah, yeah. I may not get back to you, but throw it out there. Roll the dice. Play the game.
So speaking of troubleshooting and signal flow, and this is like especially important if someone's bringing in their own console, but do y'all run between the stage and the console? Is it Cat5 or is it like all analog channels?
We're running twin lane. You've asked a very inadvertently complicated question. It is twin lane for the audio from the stage to the console, which is Yamaha's proprietary. And so that's running over a fiber optic cable. And we are running Dante to our recording computer. And what is the other one? And we have a third Internet over IP solution running to the suites. It's Blue something.
What are the suites?
The suites are these boxes up there. We are pumping audio into there from here.
And then one more question. Do
Yeah.
you have a dedicated lighting person?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. And I'm so thankful for him. He's actually been here since this place opened. So he knows more about this theater than I do. But I've been in many gigs where I'm doing the lights as well, and I still only got one paycheck. I have not figured that out yet.
Oh,
You mentioned that you also did work at El Corazon. I was just there not too long ago. Cool building. But what is the crossover then from going from a place that is that small compared to a building here? Like, what were the challenges when you swapped over to a bigger building like that?
Well, I finally I have experienced this firsthand, but I finally had to sort of feel it. There is a marketed change in the sound that in a room that is empty and a room that is full of people. We here lose about 2 dB of total volume, and we also get a dip in about 250 hertz, depending on how full the room is. Just something that you try to account for. I'll often just bring the gain down 2 dB when we're doing sound check, and then bring it up when, depending on how full the room gets, and just try and listen for. And it also, depending on where people are sitting, that can also have and it's maybe a small change, but it can be noticeable enough.
I have a similar question to that on Zoom, if I may. From Ethan Camp is asking, haven't had the pleasure of seeing a show at the Triple Door, but it seems pretty amazing. But I saw plenty of shows at Highline over the years, as well as played there a few times. Can you speak to the contrast of working front of house at a venue like that versus the Triple Door?
The contracts or the contrast?
Contrast, yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I loved working dive bars. I love working like little punky venues. It's great. Uh, but the biggest contrast probably would be the pace at which I'm allowed to work. I have a lot more time here, but also because I'm salaried here. Like I get paid the same whether I'm here 16 hours or whether I'm here 4 hours. I sort of have the freedom to decide how much time I can take. And so I will get here a little earlier than I'm actually called and help get things set up. And then I can just ease into getting things done. When I'm flying into like Highline or another place, you're there like at the last possible minute because the bar is not even open, and you're just trying to fly through it and get it done as quickly as possible. And so I'd say that the pace is probably the biggest contrast. Also, the vibe's different. The vibe in a room like this is, a lot more. It's laid back in a different way. They're sort of laid back in, nobody's dressing up. Here, sometimes everyone's in tuxes, but like also, we have people, in shorts. So as long as I get to wear this, I'm fine.
you mentioned you have subs and stuff, but do you have an assistant here usually, or is it more of a solo thing for you?
I will have one of my subs come and give me an assistance. We are actually gonna have a show coming up that I really love having an extra person around because there's a lot of things that have to happen for us to get the show going. So that is a resource that I can tap. That's really infrequent, but it does happen.
Sam, if you will, in the very short past, what was the show that you were super, super proud of for the sound of you being involved in it in this room?
Oh, well, last night, EXTC, they were the nice guys. They were really easy to work with. I was able to get them really closely dialed in, and yeah, they sounded really great. Yeah. There was another show last year. I ran sound for the Reverend Horton Heat, and I was so looking forward to that show until I had to do it because I love Reverend Horton Heat, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna meet him." And then the day of, I'm like, "Oh crap! What if I suck? Oh God, he's gonna hate me." And I was a ball of nerves the entire time, and everything was fine. The show went great. Yeah.
I have a question. It seems like in the dive bars, there's 5 or 6 bands in a night. Do you get that kind of pressure here?
Sometimes, yeah. 3 is typical. 3, uh, 5 is a little more rare, and the changeover has to be like really good, really quick, and then you're not really doing a sound check. You're doing line checks for each band right before they go on. If we do 3 in a night, we can usually get everyone sound checked. But more than that in a day, you have to get in at 8 o'clock in the morning, not at night.
Are there any more questions online? Oh,
Sorry. I also wanted to ask about, have you had much experience dealing with the digital guitar rigs now? Instead of doing the amp and cab, you have just like the neural DSP.
All these
quad?
questions are being answered by the show last night. XTC, he brought in the new Line 6 amp modelers, and it sounded amazing.
Awesome.
I remember when Line 6 pod was a joke.
Yeah.
It sounded like a toy.
Yeah.
And now they sound just as good, and you get great isolation. Here's a little. Here's the thing: if you do get the chance to design a tour, or if you have the opportunity to grab one of these, get an FR monitor, full range frequency response, and have a send that is just that guitar model, that amp modeler to that, so that it's gives a more of the impression of actually having an amp on stage.
Yeah.
For example, last night, his guitar sounded great through the mains. And so all these people in the front row couldn't hear him. So if we'd had an FR monitor, or if we had just had, I was sending a little bit through the front fills, but our front fills aren't really designed for that. It's mostly just a little bit extra for the voice. But yeah, and the great thing about that is that you get to control how loud they are.
Yeah.
You get to control their stage volume. It's great.
Yeah.
So the Line 6 was just direct. There was no cabinet at all.
No cab. No, it's just right in the system.
any other questions online?
None in the chat, but is there anyone who wanted to unmute to ask a question instead of typing in the chat from the Zoom? Oh, we got a question from Ben. Yes, asking about, is there a chance we can get a video tour of the venue and all the buttons?
What a great question. Is that something we're going to do now? Yeah, thank you. I hope I don't have to be the one to close this out. Who's doing the door prize? Is that what we're doing now?
Well, yeah, Does anybody have any more questions before we
Yes, yes,
do
yes.
introductions?
When did the triple door open officially?
2000 and something, early aughts.
Okay.
I want to say it was 2002. It's like 21 years. Maybe
You said with a parking
2004.
structure before that, and then
Yeah,
a vaudeville
yeah.
porn theater or whatever. Yeah. Oh, cool. Yep.
Like I said, I'm still learning things about this place. So
Great. I see Gary, looks like you're getting ready for the door prize. Should we do the door prize before we do introductions?
I'm gonna hold the mic here for Gary, but he's gonna read some of these door prizes.
We're doing next, up to Jess.
What are we doing next, Jess?
Oh, well, I was kind of doing an audible. If you want to do the door prizes first, that could be fun, and then we can go into intros. How about that?
Sounds good.
Okay.
sure, I'll grab one.
Drum roll, please.
Audio precision trinkets of survival utility knife, wallet.
Oh, what's the mic? You got the mic there, Micah?
I could stick the mic to his face. What are the prizes, Gary?
We've got two AP audio precision trinkets that were taken from our last meeting in Oregon, one of our previous ones, actually.
Donated from, not taken
Donated
from,
via
stolen from.
Tom Stiles. Tom Stiles got them for us at the audio precision meeting. So we have two names drawn.
Yes, name number one, Joseph Avila,
All right.
Arla, Jayney,
And Jayney got the other one.
Jayney Wallick.
All right.
There you go.
Congratulations to the
I
winners.
swear I didn't.
Or utility survival tool. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, you need those.
That's great. And then Micah, do you want to start passing the mic around? We'll start with the in-person people first and just introduce yourself, where you're from, and then what your audio deal is.
And then we'll do Zoom after that.
Yep. And then we'll go to Zoom after in-person intros are done.
Cool.
Thanks.
Would you like to start for us? Or we'll start here.
Jeffrey Bruton, shoot. Well, Mac knows I was at the music hall and when I was a senior at Evergreen State College in 1983, and my last internship was a full paid position. I was the head tech there, but there's too much to say. So Jeffrey Bruton, Micah, thanks. Good to see everybody online. Thanks, Sam. Yep.
Jayney.
Jayney Wallick, remote recordist and also AES committee member.
You can hold.
Alex Aguirre. I do some freelance scoring and compositional work, and just thought this would be cool to check out and attend. Yeah.
We're introducing ourselves.
Retired low voltage, and I still do a little audio engineering when my hearing loss doesn't have a lasting defect, and I'm still active. Hey, that's my line. And I'm still active musically. I am a trained vocalist.
Hi, I'm Jacob Kona, and I am a touring and local sound engineer at the Crocodile in Madame Lou's.
I'm Becca, and I'm a +1 and very avid concert goer. It was really cool to see the backside. Very interesting, actually, really cool.
I'm Joseph Avila. I'm an acoustical consultant. We just moved here from to Seattle from Utah a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I'm Ty Sabin. I'm from Stanwood. Right now, I'm just an audio engineering student at Shoreline Community College.
Hi, I'm Rick Smargiassi, and I work over at the Seattle Center as a sound and video tech, and I also work at the Climate Pledge Arena as a rigger.
I'm Gary. I'm the house engineer for a DIY venue called Mosswood Loft here in Seattle.
Hi, I'm Erin. I'm Erin Shellman. I'm an AES committee member here with the group and a recording engineer at Jack Straw in the U District.
All right. Hi, I'm Matthew Sutton. I do service on recording studios and high-end audio gear.
I'm Dan Mortensen. I am the technologist and committee member now for the AES section, and I do live sound at concerts and stuff too. Gary?
Is there a camera on me? No. It's only my camera. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'm Gary Louie. I'm the secretary of the section, and I'm basically retired from 44 years at the University of Washington School of Music as their recording guy.
I'm Micah Hayes, vice chair, right, currently on committee member on AES, and front of house engineer at University Presbyterian Church currently, and was teaching full time for a long time, music technology, so composer as well. Anyone else? Did we miss anyone? No, no more passing the mic like the Beastie Boys. Okay, you've already introduced yourself. Okay, I think that's it. Jess, if you want to move on to Zoom there.
All right, I am going to call on the Zoom folks who are sticking around here. I'm just going to go down my list. Let's see, Luke Bahalski.
Howdy, Luke Bahalski. I'm in Mundelein, Illinois. It's about an hour outside of Chicago. I'm a AES Pacific Northwest committee member, and by day I'm a software developer, IT kind of guy, but do recording, mixing, mastering, editing, put on house concerts occasionally, so just kind of all that type of stuff.
Awesome, thank you. Luke Goodloomis.
The two Lukes right after each other. I'm Luke Goodloomis in Portland, Oregon. I'm an AV system designer and member of the AES committee.
Great, thank you. Mac.
Oh, come on.
We can hear you.
Okay, yeah. My video apparently is disabled by the host, but there you go. Anyway, anyway, Matt Perkins, oh, okay, start my video. Anyway, retired after, I don't know, 55 odd years in various performing related technological areas, working from broadcast theater, live sound reinforcement, mostly musical theater, and then quite a number of years building museum displays all over the country. But now retired, nominally. Now I get to do the things I want to do.
Well, thanks, glad you could make it tonight. John, is it John Chelly?
Hi, yeah, Sally, but hopefully up you can see me, I guess. Hi, all right. I'm done for the night. It's only going to go downhill. John Selly here in Long Branch, New Jersey, and semi-retired electrical engineer. Spent most of my time doing telephones and telephone systems. And thank you for the great presentation and setting it up. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Glad you could make it, John. Ethan Camp.
Hi, I'm Ethan Camp. I manage the recording studios and some other music tech labs at the Evergreen State College. So I heard someone here, it's an alum from the 80s. That's cool. And I record bands and stuff when I have time, which I love doing. And I need to renew my AES membership. And Gary, Louie, I don't know if you remember me, but I met you at the AES show in 2023 in New York. Nice to see you.
Who's your companion?
Oh, this is Bugs.
Aw, glad Bugs could join too. Ben.
Trying down. There we go. Unmuted. Hi, Ben Stiegler, East Bay, San Francisco Bay Area. I've done a lot of things, venue renovations. I'm kind of too old for gig work these days, but sometimes people twist my arm. Do a lot of house of worship and small performing arts venues, and systems automation, control systems, QSys, and Control 4. And I'm failing retirement. It's just too much fun to play with these toys. So as long as I space stuff out, I'm happy. And for some of the other graybeards here, my audio mentor in high school, God, see now I've just forgotten his name. Never mind. Former president of AES from Sher Brothers. What? See, that's the state of my mind.
Ben Bauer?
Say again?
Was it Ben Bauer or Bob Schuline?
Bob Schuline, yes, yes.
Good, Gary.
So, man, he crawled around with us, and we did musicals with Vocal Master. We learned how to master vinyl recordings, and we were really lucky to have him. He took just 3 of us under his wing. And so I try to corrupt young people now too.
Is that a live shot behind you?
Oh, you bet. Yeah, the librarian just went home after dusting every volume.
Great, glad you could make it. Stephen Young, I may need here. I might have. Oh, you got it. Okay.
Hi, I'm Steve Young. I'm across the water over near Port Townsend. I wanted to make it over this evening, but the day just kind of got away from me. But I'm the USA Sales Director for Audex Microphones, based out of Portland area. And we still make a ton of stuff down there. And actually, one of the most memorable shows, I think, in my life was at the Triple Door, just a little bit before COVID, I think. My wife and I came over and saw the Australian band, the Waifs, in that space, and it was a very memorable evening. Beautiful sound, beautiful night all the way around. So special memories of the Triple Door. So thanks for sharing everything tonight that you shared. Appreciate it.
Glad you could make it too. Thank you. Randy, welcome. I think, are you able to say where you're from?
Does he have a mic or camera?
Yeah, I thought I had seen a mic. If you want to drop it in the chat, Randy, feel free, and I can share there too. Let's see here. Yes. Randy Carl, St. Louis, Missouri, retired software engineer, member of AES, singer-songwriter, and do recording in home studio and some bands. Very cool. Glad you could make it. Thank you. And I'm Jess Berg. I'm the new chair of our section here, and I've been a live sound engineer for over 22 years. I was touring, got into tour management, production management, ended up in broadcast audio after COVID. Now I'm recovering from that, and on to the next. And I was last at the Triple Door in 2019 when I was tour managing the Trash Can Sinatras, and I love that room. I wish I could be there in person. Really grateful for tonight and everyone who was able to make it. And with this is going to conclude our hybrid portion. We're going to split back off, and anyone who wants to hang out on Zoom will continue to chat. I will turn off the recording. And everyone in the room will do what you do, go for post drinks or whatever you might do. Unless there's anything else anyone wanted to share before we conclude.
Thank you, Jess. And everybody, please take cookies and water.
Well, thanks.
And we can hang out here for a little while because it's going to take a little bit for us to get out. So feel free to network with people and hang out.
Yes, thank you, Jess and Dan and Gary and everyone who put in like a lot of time to this. So thank you guys.
Yep. All right. We'll see you next time. Hope to see you in October. Stay tuned to our website. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.